Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at a couple of my favorite lower level undead, ghouls and ghasts. You really can't look at ghouls without looking at ghasts or vice versa. So I'm going to look at both today. And these are not the weakling 2-hit dice, 4-hit dice creatures you would think. And you got to be careful when you use them. And I'll explain as I go through the video. I'm going to be taking my information today out of the monster manual. I realized that second edition also looked at ghouls and ghasts, but I'm going to stay with the monster manual description for today's creatures. Also, real quick word, subscribers, please. Channel's growing very well. I want to keep it growing. And please take a look at Patreon. Anything you can do to help out there would be fantastic. That's it. Back to the important stuff. Ghouls and Ghasts today from the Monster Manual on page 121. Ghouls and Ghasts. These are fun lower level monsters. You gotta be careful with them. I'm going to take a look at ghouls first, tell you how I've used them in my campaign, then I'll take a look at ghasts. So ghouls, 2 to 24 appearing, armor class 6, 2 hit dice, 3 attacks, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 6, and paralyzation. Special defenses see below, magic resistance standard. They are lower intelligence and chaotic evil. Ghouls are undead, once human creatures which feed on human and other corpses. Although their change from human to ghoul has been deranged and destroyed their minds, ghouls have a terrible cunning, which enables them to hunt their prey most effectively. Ghouls attack by clawing with their filthy nails and their fangs. Their touch causes humans, including dwarves, gnomes, half-elves, and halflings, but excluding elves, to become rigid, paralysis, unless saving throw versus paralyzation is successful. Any human killed by a ghoul, ghoulish attack will become a ghoul unless blessed, or blessed and resurrected. Ghoul packs always attack without fear. These creatures are subject to all attack forms except sleep and charm spells. They can be turned by clerics. The magical circle will protection from evil will keep these monsters completely at bay. And then there's a aquatic version called Lacedon. Lacedon is a marine form of the ghoul, conforms in all other aspects to the ghoul. A couple things I want to touch on their immunities. Basically, standard undead immunities are all mind-affecting spells, and that would include sleep and charm. So they're immune to that. Poisons, of course, because they're already dead. But ghouls are not to be underestimated. At 2 hit dice, they're going to come in somewhere between 2 and 16 hit points. Usually going to be somewhere around 9, 10 hit points, which doesn't seem like a lot with a weak armor class of 6, but the 3 attacks are what get you. And the paralyzation. Each of these attacks at my table forces a save versus paralyzation. I don't do it as one per round. If you've been hit by a claw, then missed, then hit by a bite, you owe me 2 different paralyzation saves. And the reason it says is its touch causes you to have to save versus paralyzation. Now, I completely get a DM that says that's stupid. It should be once per round. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, except I like the terror that ghouls instill in players who have to make those saving throws when they realize that even if they've got a really good saving throw, if they're making 1, 2, or 3 of these per round, they're going to lose eventually. You can have ghouls be a challenge to a group up to about 6th level. A lot of that is the paralyzation, but if you have an elf-heavy party, which I have in my Remnants of Solm campaign, parts 1 and my first adventure of that campaign, I filmed last January and is available on the channel. I threw a pack of ghouls at them when they were 2nd or 3rd level, and the party only had 1 human. So the human cleric, I had the ghouls attacking in an open room, so he was able to turn 2 of the ghouls, but got attacked by others and was paralyzed. The only human. But the other characters were all elves, but they were suffering the death of 1,000 nibbles for 3 attacks a round. 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 6. Before I knew it, natural attrition had started taking players down. And it ended up with only 2 of the 6 players on their pins at the end of the fight. And it became pretty close as to whether they're going to be able to take out the last ghoul or not. And the ghouls continue to attack as long as there's food there. So it was a pretty interesting fight. So you got to be a little careful. That was a pretty strong 2nd and 3rd level group, strong statistic-wise. 2nd and 3rd level group, and they were almost taken out by about 9 ghouls. So you got to be careful. Now we go to the Ghast. Ghasts appear 1 to 6, armor class 4, 4 hit dice, 3 attacks also, 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 1 to 8. Special attacks and special defense see below. They are very intelligent. They are chaotic evil. These creatures are so like ghouls as to be completely indistinguishable from them. They'll usually be found with a pack of ghouls. When the pack attacks, it will quickly become evident that ghasts are present, however, for they exude a carrion stench in a 10-foot radius that causes retching and nausea unless save versus poison is made. So there's problem number one with ghouls. You have to save versus poison. If you fail it, you are -2 to hit against the creatures. Worse, the ghast attacks as a ghoul with regard to paralyzation, and this attack will also affect elves as well. So if you have a ghast in with those ghouls, it's becoming much harder. Ghasts are undead class, so sleep and charm spells do not affect them. Any mind affecting don't affect them. They are struck by any sort of weapon. Cold iron causes double damage, and clerics can turn them. A circle of protection from evil does not keep them at bay unless it is used in conjunction with cold iron, such as the circle of powdered iron, an iron ring, etc. These creatures are often used as slaves by powerful demons. D&D was big on cold iron in the earliest days. That was a real big thing. It was an inexpensive way for players to get their hands on weapons and other things that would actually hurt some monsters. So cold iron was big in the early days. I've never made that big a deal of it. In my earliest days, it did appear. Since then, I've just kind of moved past cold iron. We don't really use it much at my table. Ghasts are powerful. They are also intelligent, and I have them bullying the ghouls into working under them. But since they're both chaotic evil, it's only as long as the ghast is watching. You have to be careful with these guys. The stink causes you to be at -2 to hit, and they paralyze, including elves. I read an article years ago, I think it was in Dragon, talking about the ghouls bringing up the fear of death, and that's why ghoul touch paralyzed humans and the other races, but elves, being so long-lived, didn't suffer by that. Therefore, they were immune to that because they didn't suffer a fear of death like humans do. Ghast apparently overrides that. So, again, you've got to be careful with ghasts. They can very quickly overwhelm a party at 4 hit dice, with 3 attacks around, 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 1 to 8. And again, I make a saving throw each time you get hit. If you get hit 3 different times in the round at my table, you have to make me 3 different saving throws or be paralyzed. I realize that's probably overkill, and I hear people screaming at their TV right now saying, hey, wait, that's not what it says. It should be once a round. It shouldn't be for every attack. I make ghouls and ghasts that much scarier at my table simply by doing that. My players know not to mess with them. They'll usually try to get some distance, take these things out from range, not get up close and personal with them. It's just something I've always enjoyed in the game, and it's something I don't plan on changing. So that's all I've got to say today on Ghouls and Ghasts. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you liked what you heard and saw. Tell your friends, and I'll see you next time on page 121.